Good morning, gang. Good afternoon, good evening, or good night, depending on where you are in the world. Welcome back to this week's Bitcoin update. First and foremost, remember, nothing discussed today is financial advice, just for educational purposes only, and it's my view of the markets. And now we've got that out of the way. It's been a while, team. Apologies, it's been a while. Real life got in the way. And also been very busy with the group, doing the educational programs, etc. So yeah, but I'm back now. Do me a favor, if you want more of these free videos on YouTube, bear in mind I don't get paid for this, then do me a favor and hit that like button and let me know down in the comments. Now, nothing really has massively changed since the last time we spoke. So obviously the last time we spoke was a couple of weeks ago. Where I was sort of being around here. Okay, coming down into here. This was the section I talked about this in the last video. About this whole section here, how it was a tough environment for the majority of people that don't understand order flow. But obviously for anyone that does understand order flow, it was really easy just to sit in shorts or even scalp short this whole move down. Now in the group we're looking at this, if you follow me on Twitter you'll have seen this, basically looking at this as a bit of a flat structure, really clean flat structure. Anyone that understands Elliott Wave will understand what I'm talking about here. If you don't understand Elliott Wave, be a good thing for you guys to learn. But nice and easy, clean flat structure into the 1618 extension, nice expanded flat, and then we've got the bouncy bounce. Now since then obviously we've just made our way up to where we are right now. So admittedly I'm not really going to run through many trades because there's not been that many trades to be had, except for effectively two longs for me. One was down here and then the other one was in this region here, which for me effectively was just adding back into this previous long. Where we are, well, this is where we are right now. There's been no real clean setups, and this is something I've been explaining to the guys in the group, in the fact that a lot of people, especially when you're new to trading, you'll want to be always in a trade. You'll never want to miss a move. You know, every single rise, if you're bearish, you'll try to short it. You know, every candle that comes up, you'll just be trying to desperately short it. You know, or alternatively, you're on the other team and you're just trying to long every single move. And the thing is if you've got no clean setup, there's no trade. Which is why, as I said, for the past couple of weeks, in fact, past 3 weeks, since this shot was here, there's not really been that many trades to be had that's been really straightforward, really nice clean setups. So a lot of the time it's just a case of sitting back or looking at other markets, either looking at altcoins or looking at traditional markets. And that's kind of what we do as a trader. But staying focused on Bitcoin, you know, what am I looking at next? Realistically. Okay, so at the moment, structure's fairly bullish. Can't knock that. Obviously, we are up within this sticky zone here. Okay, so this is obviously where we consolidate, and we've consolidated here before, which means there's obviously volume here to slow price down. You know, it's really simple, you know, just for visual peeps. Nice and easy. You had a sideways range here, and all we've done is we've come back up into that sideways range. That's all we've done. Okay, so it's a natural sticky point. It's a natural sticky point. I know obviously the influencers out there are obviously looking at these W patterns or M patterns or whatever pretty patterns they want that they've got out of some 5th grade school book. But it's not for me. Either way, it's just a sticky zone. It's nice and easy. So next, what could come next? Well, quite simply, we're going to do what we've been doing for God knows how long now. There we go. Range, let's make this really clear because it might not come through on your screen. So let's go yellow and let's make it a little bit brighter. There we go. Look at this. We're up against the EQ of the overall range. Now, is it the cleanest of ranges? No, it's not, because obviously it's still angled down. You know, we're still making a series of lower lows and lower highs. Okay, could this change it? Could this be the first higher high? Sorry, higher low, then potentially for a higher high. There's potential, yeah, it's potential. Wait and see how it goes. But on top of this, we also want to do the other thing, and I'm just going to use a volume profile back to here, okay? So we can see what's going on. We can see visually now what's going on. So for me here, it's a bit of a patient area. Okay, I'm not really, apart from very low time frame, I'm talking scalping. If you don't understand scalping or intraday trading, then, you know, this isn't for you right now. But effectively, we've got resistance above us. Nice and simple. We do have resistance above. So therefore, I'm not going to be longing into resistance because that just does not make any sense. Okay. So first thing to consider is, if we do move up, first and foremost, we can look to be contesting these highs here and the EQ. Now, once again, I'm just going to make that EQ a little bit brighter so you guys can see it. Let's go this. There you go. You can see that. So we've got this EQ. So the first thing to note is, do we just pop up above this EQ, run a few stops, and also local stops as well, run a few stops, and then turn back around for a potential short trigger? It's possible. Okay, it's possible. Collect a bit of liquidity. You know, if the big boys do want to push the market down, great place to grab some liquidity up here. So this is the first thing that I'm considering. Okay, now if we go outside of that and we manage to flip this EQ and continue up, and I can't rule out the point of control. Now bear in mind, this whole range has been going on now for how long? Let's have a look. 211 days. 6 months. Over 6 months now. Okay, of sideways price action. So this point of control, and yes, your point of control, it might be different if you're trading on another exchange. I trade on Bybit and I like Bybit's data. Okay, that's why I've always charted on Bybit. So this point of control is not to be ignored. So once again, if we can flip this, then the next major resistance that I'm going to be keeping my eye on is this point of control. Now, what you could do is just consider this one big zone. Okay, one big zone. And somewhere within this zone, if I am presented with a short trigger, whether it's a straightforward swing failure pattern around this EQ or a move up towards this point of control, if I'm presented with a short trigger, i.e. maybe some sort of change of market structure, or maybe I start to see some bearish absorption on CVD, or I just start to see a heck of a lot of FOMO longs, didn't mean to go that far back, a heck of a lot of FOMO longs into resistance, and it stops and starts to break down, yeah, great, cool, I've got a short trigger. Okay, because that's the next major resistance that's above us. I can't ignore that. Now, things start to change if we can flip that. So if we can flip this roughly 67k, 67.3, but roughly 67k just for easy numbers, if we can flip that and start pushing up, then things start to look a bit more bullish. Okay, because realistically, above this, there's not that much in terms of volume-based resistance above us. Yes, we've got the value area high. Okay, we've got the value area high, so I will be keeping an eye on that. Obviously, if we do reject off that, yeah, lower time frame, we might have a short trigger. If we can then flip that, then realistically, there's not much above value area high that can slow the price down, and the odds do increase significantly for potentially a new all-time high, or at least range highs. Okay, range highs, same questions I will be asking. Do we pop above, everyone gets overly excited, and then it falls back below? Well, if we do, then I'm just going to continue playing this range. Quite simply. Does that mean, if it does this, does that mean it's then going to break down towards the range low? It's not a guarantee. It could happen, yeah. But this is trading. Anything can happen. You know, it's like the people that say, oh, Bitcoin will never go below 40k again, or will never go below 20k again. Anything can happen. This is trading. And this is where a lot of people go wrong. You're not open to the ideas that anything could happen. It could do this. Likewise, it could just blast straight on up to whatever made up number someone's come up with. Yes, anything can happen. So as a trader, it's our job to be prepared for all scenarios. So if we do get pop above and then get acceptance back into the range, then yeah, I will be looking for short triggers. Okay. If we go higher than that, once again, I'm going to refer back, because I've been talking about this zone for a while, around 77k. 77k is still a bit of a sticky zone for me. Okay. I know a lot of people will sit there and think, obviously, there's nothing there. There's nothing there. But in terms of Elliott Wave, yes, we do have something there. Okay. So I will be keeping my eye on that. It doesn't mean I'm going to be blindly shorting it. Okay. But it means I'm going to be aware of that. Clear above that, then it starts to look very bullish. Okay. So that's upside. Really straightforward. There's not a lot above us, but there are some major levels. Okay. There's not a lot of them, but there are some major levels to be aware of. Now, obviously, if we start breaking down, okay, this whole price action up here, for me, is fairly sloppy. It's fairly sloppy. It's not that clean. Okay. What I mean by that is there's no real good confluent zones below us. So realistically, it's in the bull's best interest to keep driving up in the long run, because there's not a lot below us, okay? Now, if I do a fib from this low, so obviously if this low is to create a new high, then this is a dominant low that we need to be aware of. And we'll pull it to here. You can see here, realistically, and again, this is what I mean by it's a little bit sloppy as this PA. You got 382 here, kind of in no man's land. The value area high is below it. So it's not really that confluent. Okay, what do I mean by confluence? I mean lots of different types of TA lining up over each other, okay, to give me the best possible chance for a trade. So yeah, you could have some sort of bounce around here, yeah, but it's not that high probability for me, okay? The highest probability for me comes down back towards range lows, because obviously we've got range lows and we've got a golden pocket around that same zone. So if it is to be bullish, then realistically, this kind of needs to hold in this zone here. So if it does come down here and gives me some sort of long trigger, yeah, I'll take a long. Just longing from range low, okay? If it starts losing this, realistically, last chance would be this zone here, because we've got a bit of a CME gap down here. Can't ignore that. So obviously if we do come down into the CME gap, fill that CME gap and start turning around, then yeah, I might have a low time frame long trigger. But at that point, I'll be very conscious about what happens if it comes back up at range low. Does it get acceptance back into the range? Yeah, great, cool. I'll hold my long, potentially add back in. Or does it reject from range low and go lower? That's the questions you've got to ask yourself. But we don't know that, because we don't have a crystal ball. Okay? We don't have a crystal ball. Anyone that starts drawing these like really big squiggles and saying it's going to do this and it's going to do that, it's talking out their arsehole. Just a guess. Just a guess. We do come down lower and that CME gap gets filled, but it doesn't get a bounce on the back of it, then realistically, I'll be looking to take out these lows here. Now, does that give us a trade from taking them out? Potentially. Low time frame, scalping, maybe. Yeah, we'll see. I'd much rather see these lows get contested. So if these lows then got contested, does that mean it's overly bearish? Well, it doesn't straight away, okay? Especially if it takes out some stops and then gets its backside back above, starts to change some structure. Yeah, great, cool. I've got a long trigger. Start to lose this, and then it starts to look a little bit crap for the bulls. Doesn't mean it's a straight line to zero or anything like that before anyone starts panicking. All it does mean is I'm going to grab this volume profile, I'm going to take it all the way back. Need to go up a time frame, drag it all the way back to the lows, and all we're going to do, like I've been showing you for the past year plus, is looking where the volume is. Okay, volume chunk around yearly open. Cool, great. Loses this. If this doesn't give some sort of bounce in this region, then I'll be looking lower. If I'm looking lower, I'm going to be looking down here. Okay, down roughly around 37-38k. Why is 37-38k a region of interest? Well, you have got some volume here. Okay, don't get me wrong, this is a precarious zone. Upwards accumulation, never a good sign, because if it gets accepted back into here, it can go through it very quick. But we do a fib from the absolute low to the absolute high, like this. What have we got down here? We've got the golden pocket. So the golden pocket's lining up with the top part of this section here and some volume. So if we do end up losing yearly open, then I'll have my eyes firmly on the golden pocket. Okay, does the golden pocket give me something to work with? Cool, great, I've got a long trigger. If not, then I'm looking lower. If I'm looking lower, it's pretty obvious where I'm looking. I'm just looking to come back into this environment down here, roughly around 28k. Okay, but effectively, for simple terms, all that means is I'm looking for it to come down here into this old range. So that's all that is. It's an old range. Do we hit the top of the range and get a bounce? Possible. Or do we get acceptance back into the range, then start looking down towards the point of control in the EQ? Let's wait and see. We don't know. We don't have a crystal ball. Okay, so that's it. That's it. Really short and sweet this week. It's not complex. There's not loads of major levels, but the major levels that we do have need to be paid attention to. Okay, so as I said, from here, I'm not looking about longing, not on a high time frame anyway, because I'm longing straight into resistance. EQ, roughly around 65k. Next major level will be around 67k. Starts clearing that, then straight away 70k, that value area high. Clear that, then realistically the odds do come in favour of a new high, a new all-time high. All right, team, that'll do. See you, bye.